Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open. Are you interested in a new and exciting book? It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, little girl.
That is a book. They have stories inside them. It's like someone told you a story in a postcard is a small cardboard picture. You can write a few words on the other side and send it to your friend or beloved. Board games are like little games on a table, made to pass the time. There are several different ones, but sailors, my pleasure. Anything else you'd like to know? Okay, sir, I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books. My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. Oh, no, sir. I'm happy to help Mum by luring in customers. Besides, I have some hot juice in my vacuum bottle to keep warm. I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running. Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker...
There is stress and unease behind these words. She's reciting etiquette.
Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk about this house being cursed.
Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking, twisting for a second, and some kind of doubt in her tense shoulders.
Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... Exactly, but we've been doing fine so far. They shouldn't be, but they seem real. Anyhow, they say that these grounds are doomed for businesses. Of course, sir. Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals. And it's kind of like a puzzle too. You can guess who the criminal is, or how the good guys are going to catch him. You don't look much like a policeman. Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen.
She looks at Dick Mullen. He isn't even drawn right. She examines the picture, trying to find whatever is wrong with it. She then shrugs and puts...
Sure you can, sir. He's just a fictional character. He'll be no match for you. Maybe you can show me some real police work, sir. Like in the books. It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir. I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum. I don't think it's a romance story if the main characters break up, though. No, I don't know. Yes, she knows books.
What was that? An idea for an unfinished... You clearly have issues you need to address.
It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process. Or should actually be rich himself, but those are unhappy books for most of the pages. These are not very common. You can't have a choice between... Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either, because she doesn't need a bad man. That's really not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life. Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone is happy in the end. Maybe some about other books? Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. I think that's why people read them, to find the...
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
But it does make the famous people more famous.
Annette's expression remains ever so helpful, but she doesn't say anything.
Isn't that kind of a childish thing for a grown-up to say?
When she grows up, and if she grows up to be clever, she'll discover there's no such thing as a grown-up.
Okay, sir.
She doesn't know what to make of that, but she'll remember it. The girl keeps her hands folded, hidden. Why is that?
What do you mean, sir?
She looks around anxiously. The lieutenant stands by, looking at the two of you with little interest. She brings out her reddened hands, her nails frayed, nearly chewed down.
And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded? Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction like that.
She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic.
Maybe so, sir. Okay, I know it's a bad habit, and I shouldn't. It was okay, sir.
There's more that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same.
You're quite sober.
The lieutenant does not flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a single bit. He is intensely not flinching. It takes effort.
Because you usually aren't. I sure hope you are, sir.
There she stands, swaying on her feet, assaulted by the early spring breeze. There's something you're missing. You have absolutely no idea. Familiar? How? You must have forgotten something you heard again.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
Welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. My name is... Be welcome, and please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space. I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture. Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post? Wonderful! Did you talk to her? Great! On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her? My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette. God! I've told her not to do that. It's such a disgusting habit. She'll get over it. Anxiety is a part of... She can, if she has enough willpower. This is what's called growing.
Come on, ma'am. It's obvious she can't do anything about it. You are placing an unnecessary burden on a young child.
She stands stiff and severe, silently fuming. This is a person coming to terms with a new reality, one where they are wrong. She's looking for one, but there simply aren't any good arguments for being an asshole.
Oh no. Hold on. I need to invite her inside and apologize. She must be freezing out there. There. I don't know what to say to you. My husband, he tries to teach me business lessons. I have what my mother called a dull mind. All this stress. Yes, my husband is a successful entrepreneur east of the river. If only he were more involved in the business we're running up here. No matter. Soon we'll both be off for Grand Couronne. It's a proper place to live. One of the most peaceful neighbourhoods east. Most of the buildings are empty at the moment. It's a great opportunity to get ahead of the crowds. He made the initial investment. Since then, he's been what you might call...
Super silent. Almost inaudibly so.
Yes, I'm afraid so. A real treat she is. It would be nice if she had... No, we couldn't have afforded more.
A glimmer of sadness blinks through the well-crafted exterior.
We're quite busy people, you know, my husband and I. Quite busy. Children are a lot of work. You don't look like a... I'm sorry. I'm sure you do understand. She's been too busy helping me here. So she studied at home this trimester. This is I assure you, I of all people understand the importance of education.
And hell freezes over? Never mind. It's not a good topic to get into. The woman looks aloof. Her features much softer. Occasionally she glances at her daughter's silhouette.
Then why are you talking to me? Everything is on the shelves to browse. Don't you feel compelled to buy anything? See those shelves there? Everything is on the shelves. Take a look yourself.
She's attempting to mentally direct you towards the shelves. She only wants you to buy the goods. She doesn't care about...
Truth be told, not really. My sister brings in most of the goods. I'm sure it's all very literary stuff with well-written prose, but you don't learn about the important things in life from fabricated stories. The truth is available if you just know where to look, and you have to open and free your mind to understand. Truth be told, but you don't learn about the important... I provide a valuable service. As long as the truth is available if you just know where to look.
She smiles and nods, seemingly relieved. The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the titles contain the word Heimdall somewhere. Rows and rows of Heimdall men blur your vision. You make out some titles. Man from Heimdall and the Mammoth Riders. Man from Heimdall. Return maybe 100. Man from Heimdall and the Sage, not even close. Man from Heimdall in Hell. Man from Heimdall and the Forest of Slaves. A twinge at the back of your head makes you flinch. Your eye starts twitching. Your hand reaches toward a book with glossy cover art of the very muscular Man from Heimdall in chains, kneeling in front of a staircase. She's laughing at him, belittling him. Between the throne and the Heimdall man lies a bonfire, casting shadows on the wall. The shadow of the woman's headdress looks like a pair of devil horns. The title reads, Man from Heimdall and the Devil Woman. The display rack before you is burdened under piles of Man from Heimdall novels.
Oh, Man from Heimdall. A very popular series of adventure novels. They're all blood and violence, scantily clad women, epic narratives, all those mystical things he encounters. They're bound to grab those with little imagination and nothing to do. What does it matter? They're all the same. If you're a novice of the series, I'd recommend Heimdallaman, the Man from Heimdall. It's supposed to be a good introduction to this...
I'm sorry, sir. I can't talk right now.
You just can't wait. Out of the rain and into the gutter. You have absolutely no idea. Familiar? How? You must have forgotten something you heard again.
Math. It's really difficult. Like, really. They say you need it to get rich. Oh, I found something while you were away. I thought this would fit you. Like, thanks for helping out. Not me. The city, I mean. Like a detective does. Just what Dick Mullen would ask. I got it from behind the curtains. I'm not really supposed to go there. Maybe. It's the hat Dick Mullen wears all the time. You'll look right. I have to get back to my homework now, before Mum notices. Man, this is hard.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are an endless variety of source books, lore books, and codices litter the table. There's also a large hardbound tome with books in a board game section. Who wants to read books? There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. That price is steep, but then it's the 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplement, so it makes sense.
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist. Browbritter is a fun game of economic competition, but can get...
Who are you going to play board games with? Do you have friends or family? It certainly feels like whatever you are will die with you.
Friends are technically like family. For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization, then set off to brutally colonize and... Lousy auras there. No, role-playing games are popular among those types. I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts, that they have ritual.
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. Crime fiction is a disgrace. And asinine, these books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days of their lives. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, you see Dick Mullen a killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the murder house. Oh no, turns out he faked it to solve a case. Yes, tragedy calls. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen? Your quick eye notices a small caterpillar crawling across the spine of a worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic hard-boiled phase. The premise seems to be that Dick Mullen is framed for the murder of his... Could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals? Then this is the book for you.
Oh, crime, robberies, murders, even sexual crimes. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of these. They...
The plaque on the shelf reads, Biographies of Famous People. You see a large variety of... Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head... Suddenly, a particularly odd title catches your eye. It reads, High Speed Love, The Tragic True Love. High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest tip-top tourney racers in history. One next to Irv's life story, you see a slim biography of an Occidental rock star called. Next to that, Revacholian radio personality Guillaume Bevy stands in front of a rundown drug den.
I really must insist you buy one of the books. Reading them... I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. I would say... The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's an important educational tool, delving into the depths of history, religion, and their relation to a very influential historical figure. But surely I don't have to tell you. The book is also very daring. The author aims to re-examine the universal understandings of the innocentic system, creating a fresh vantage point, perhaps for a layman. Deep analysis is necessary.
Do her words seem vague and abstract?
Certainly. It's prudent for a person to have at least an elementary...
You feel like you should get this one? Definitely. It's important somehow. There's something personal inside.
A true cultural touchstone. Enjoy the read.
You've acquired an interactable item. Investigate this item further by going to the Interact tab in your inventory.
Browsing through all the books with all their names, suddenly, a particularly odd title, High Speed Love, next to that.
I really must... I'm sorry, I did not...
The Greatest Innocence by João Paulo Salomão. Browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates, places, if your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No. Oh well, it's pop quiz time. Let's see what you've learned. This might take a few minutes. You ready? That's the spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Who was the first innocence? Oh yeah, this is what I was made for. A pop quiz is a short examination designed to test your knowledge without any prior warning or announcement. Such exams allow the teacher to assess how thoroughly the students have retained the material at hand. Voila! Now blast that first innocence. Incorrect. Sola was anointed during the previous century and even lived to see the current one. She was an urban planner who spoke her mind and largely left history to its own devices. Sola resigned after an assassination attempt by a Yugo nationalist who blamed her for not taking the side of the left during the turn-of-the-century revolutions. Innocences don't usually resign. Care to try again? Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franco Negro presumed as such and called him Pius. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It's said he invented God and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as a way for measuring people's love for Aurum. As the first innocence, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed his disciples were the beginning of the Holy Party, the founding party. Question 2. Who was the strongest innocence? Easy. Everybody knows the answer to this. You, me, anybody. Incorrect. Vespa Messina is not a person, but a defunct state on the southeastern coast of the Occident. It is correct. Named the innocence of militarism, he codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the inter-isolari realm. Franco Negro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place and a... Question 3. Who was the false innocence? Got it under control. No problem. Solid on this one. It's widespread historical information. Incorrect. Stepan the Despicable, regent of Kedra, was a ruler who conquered the known world during the Kedriatic conquest, instead of the despotic Erno Pasternak. Would you try again? Correct. There have been a number of counter or false innocences, some assumed to have innocentic qualities, some who just thought so themselves. Occasionally, they have the support of a fact. The most famous and important of these was Erno Pasternak. He was into torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, and world final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. This is the most important one. I've got it, honest. Correct. The Mesk might see Franco Negro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day, everything from inter-isolary travel to the connected world, to 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Congratulations on finishing the C, vaguely passable. A solid effort with nothing much else to show. You would have done better if you just dialed the Dolores Day down a bit.
What's going on with you? Okay.
You are shouting at an inanimate object, like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with the right answers. Shelves full of biographies of. Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden inside the alcove. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda. This large map displays archipelagos. You see a constellation of small dots on the light blue emptiness of the Insulindic Ocean. The largest in the northeast is La Caillou, Ozon, Laurentide, Fas Alamir, Archipelagos, North Arcade Islands, all just specks of dust on the vastness of the disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou in a bookstore. It's you. You can, on Caillou, Revachon, a single black star, on Ozon, Fondelier, and Viman. 850 million people live on these little dots. The ocean breaks apart into a tangle of cosines and azimuths, all pointing into pale nothingness. Connections to other worlds. Words past the Insulindian. You have little idea what they are. Distant stars. Gods. But looking at them makes you feel almost non-existent. Whatever they are, the Isolas, perhaps they are gods. Gods of distance and out. The north coast of a verdant island is shattered by the delta of a river. It is the River Esperance. Countless bridges put the shard to the east, rolling hillsides. Le Jardin, Stella Marie, Houdon. It's somewhere to live. Not bad. Then there's Jamrock. It's bad. People shouldn't live there, but they do. Then Forberg. It's almost as you feel you're just west of Coal City, somewhere above Jamrock and close to Coal City. It's not really a map. It's a tourist thing. A picture postcard with buildings on it. Still, it's detailed. Could be pretty useful for scouting ahead. You see the jagged boxes of an industrial harbor, even the whirling.
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale, and they're quite valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though. That old thing? It's an out from when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago. They also...
The place does not look like a successful tourist trap.
They didn't get that far, for some reason. A shame the project never got going. Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named. These 3 things are very important. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice. It serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to, and which costs more than this book, is wholeness, unity, balance. On the other hand, when it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place. The book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium. There's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre and post factum apply. This is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this?
Sir, please, no browsing in that shelf. I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my customers. Oh no!
The throbbing in your head increases with every... Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, medicinal purposes. The book contains very little explanation on the matter. This knowledge seems to be. The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines. For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik or hand broom made from the leafy twigs of a young. It is supposedly invigorating and good for the circulation. It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the pail. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole. Just among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to That seems improbable. Is it any more improbable than anything else that human beings put their faith in? For general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pale, though a sidebar cautions readers to limit each stroll to less than an hour. These strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the nude. This is exactly what you need. There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations. You close the book and return it to its place on the shelf. You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange...
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only. Nothing. Now please go back to browsing the books. Don't you feel compelled to look at the books?
She speaks almost as if she's trying to put a spell. Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become. You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straw. Inside, a disturbing... This is a traditional Seminese ward, meant to provide protection against ill luck. The inhabitants of Ile de Fantôme, the Seminine Islands. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fishhead charm at this time. The curtains remain shut before you. Just as you're about to pull apart the curtains, the petrified...
Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's off limits for the customers. Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you decide to open them. I won't be held responsible.
She looks away, mumbling. Why is everyone always messing with the curtains? Why can't they just buy books like normal people?
No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Now please step away from the curtains. Why? It's not like anyone was killed there. I am sorry, I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't go there. I can't allow that. You'll only make things worse and unleash the powers. You do? My God, even more reasons not to mess with the curtains. No! Please just talk to me, officer. Come here and let's talk this through before...
Talking is always good. Go see. There is something mysterious about the curtain. The curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before you, as if taunting you.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime. I already told you, it's just a storage room for employees. I don't understand why it's so important to you. Just let it go, officer. Go buy some goddamn book.
She recites it like it's a poem, or like she's playing a role she's grown tired of.
It's just for decoration. Okay, fine. It's just because this place is cursed, just like everyone said. They don't call it the doomed commercial area for nothing. Are you happy now, officer? Happy that you've ruined everything? The curse is so much worse than you could imagine. It's a disease, eating at the very foundation. It's the curse of financial distress, of ruin and bankruptcy.
Didn't that curtain just move?
Everyone knows that all the previous companies in this building have sooner or later declared bankruptcy, and their malicious spirits are still here, feeding off bad business practice. There's something wrong with this building, I can tell you. Ever since I arrived, I've sensed an eerie, lingering presence, as if I was unwanted here. It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail. The negativism.
Wow. Void raves. You have new words.
Yes, I've contacted numerous parapsychologists, and even a pair of Simonese mediators. They provided me with the wards. The wards help to keep the doom at bay and protect us against the darkness that lies further in the building, even though now I fear it's not enough. Oh, this? No, it's a special Himian amulet, blessed by desert pygmy shamans, with a spell of compulsion. It's to compel. There are numerous spells cast throughout the store. I had the books anointed with a different inducement spell, for example.
Desert pygmy shamans. That sounds like a rather questionable way to describe a group of people.
Most certainly not. I don't want anyone who's not familiar with the psychic arts to get...
My liege, do you know what this case calls for? A para-detective. Slither up to her, you silver-tongued fiend. Show her what world-class perfidy looks like.
Are you sure? Don't think I haven't seen charlatans before. I'm not sure I can trust your claims. Honestly.
The lieutenant keeps his usual stony calm. Go ahead then. Rock her world, he thinks. I'll compose some notes.
How do you know all this?
Here we go.
You're part Simonese. Oh, it means our meeting couldn't have been... But I am not the only one at risk. I have to think of my daughter. You are certain you can help us? Keep us safe? I can't allow any If you promise, good officer, then you might be our last hope. Do you swear it? Thank you, sir. There's one more thing I haven't told you about yet. The entity.
Do not act surprised. You know of these things, sire.
You have? The entity takes the form of a woman, a witch probably. I've suspected that she must be connected to the curse ever since I first saw her. Did you know that she lives inside the chimney? Yes, that chimney is part of the building's central furnace, and it's enormous. She has barricaded herself behind some unnatural magic, I assume. You should go find the entity and ask what happened to all the companies in the building. Oh, and please do return to me after you've looked round. I'm quite anxious.
Unbelievable darkness and what you discover? Probably just some office space. Don't be scared.
Okay, but please, only a few questions.
The woman looks aloof. You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to a... You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash. A doorway stands in the back, covered in...
Oh!
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. Only an echo. No one is there. After exerting some force, you manage to turn the key. It's eerily silent. The door slides slightly open, letting a draft of cold air into the room. A barbell lies on the floor. The color has worn off its weight plates. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. There are no collars on the barbell. This is a safety hazard. Why does it feel so familiar?
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then. It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating, but it isn't.
No, it's not that. It's the stale smell of rubber, the squeaky sound of sneakers, your bruised knee against the mat, and a whistle. Then the feeling is gone. It's just a memory. You manage to hoist it off the ground, but the barbell feels wobbly and dangerous. Your hands slip with sweat. Turns out you're no beast, just an old man with bad form. See? See? This place is cursed.
Proper weightlifting gloves would definitely afford a better grip. What is this place? Yes, but no one's been here in ages. I doubt the electricity still works. Good thing we have a flashlight on us.
An eerie feeling rises in your chest.
Yes, because it's closed. No need to look for supernatural... It's dark, and the flashlight works a lot better if you hold it in your hand. Right, now let's get to it.
Some areas are inaccessible without your flashlight. After you've acquired it, go to your inventory and equip...
Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches. Some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still make out sections here and there. Photos. These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different types of Welkins. You make out autumnal translucent Welkins, with organs shining under their skin, and even ether Welkins. Who are all those creatures? You should adopt one of those Welkins as your persona. No longer one of the Welkins, towering among the rest, appears to be different, however. It's Vara Hamira, a high Welkin, his face white and scarred like cracked marble. This is clearly a Welkin supremacist. The note says, all the Haldor, the Tworg, the humans, and even headless men, all of them, purged. Imagine a world filled only with Welkin, Green Welkin, Dread Welkin, and the High Welkin to rule them all.
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little Welkin creatures. Some people really like building a world, I think, even if it's just for a game. This looks like concept art for a project. It's not really real. Political commentary. That one has a great beard, too. Just look at those details. So much effort.
The photo collage depicts barren, icy landscapes wrapped in perpetual night. You see permafrost and glacial landforms. Entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. There are pictures of settlements on dried up. You see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers, boreal dvorg, yurts under the snow, albeit dark and cold. This vision also feels cozy in its own way, like eggnog. A pinned postcard reads, "The heat death scenario. A desperate fight for geothermal energy engulfs the world as Wirral becomes untethered. This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint, daily minimi, and GPI span the marker-drawn. Minimi stands for a mini-meeting. It's part of a bigger framework for managing work called RUN. Station 41 tried to implement it a few years ago, but failed. As time goes on, the numbers in the boxes grow rarer and rarer. The board becomes an empty snowfield.
Looks like they didn't make it.
A note in the bottom left corner of the chalkboard says, "See the prod schedule filament for details." This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Minimi stands for a, as time goes.
Looks like they didn't.
A note in the bottom left corner of the handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make out 3 slogans: call in, tune out, Wirral untethered, and heat. This appears to be some kind of machine with a cube-shaped heart and a wired framework. The keyboard has a rectangular on-off button.
A radio computer. Just sitting here without anyone inside.
The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber, revealing fluorescent play and print keys on the keyboard. The hatch on the machine's central compartment is wide open. It's empty like a beehive without its brood. Some cables have been left dangling.
This is where the memory should go.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading over the stone like blood vessels on alabaster skin. The whole thing resembles Kadran mosaic tiles. Very pedantic. History classes, students with their textbooks open, studying the roots of our civilization. Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6. UKV unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced. Perhaps the web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled the Game Master Frequency. A note says, this one can listen in on any station it wants. Someone very important, the leader of a massive on-air game built by these people. A conductor for the hundreds of story threads that pass through the game. Whoever decides to call in to a call-in station. There's no way a little basement studio working here could pull anything like...
My God. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. The schedule. I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
Nothing. It's just lines on marble.
Okay. What do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace? No, that's not it. I think it looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games, only these people were trying to automate it.
Utter madness, he thinks, as a compliment.
Through call-in stations, none of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game. Then there's the Game Master Frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to coordinate the stories, not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Graz, Messina, Connect.
Not in Revachol West.
But I don't think anyone has attempted to create an inter-isolary game before. We just don't have the technology. Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway. Role-playing people love that stuff. The world looks like a modified version of the we were.
Super cool. Someone should give them millions of real immediately. This game is too good to be left.
No idea. They stopped filling out the schedule on the chalkboard. Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but... It's too late for that, I'm afraid. Okay, let's keep moving.
An iron safety curtain curves before your eyes, folded like a bellows. This must be where the entity lives. What an odd thing to do. Nothing happens. Still nothing. Those curtains prove to be surprisingly sturdy. Your fist hurts now. If this is really an entrance to the chimney, then there must be a furnace somewhere as well. Maybe there's another way to...
Can you please try to refrain from attacking random things? Thanks. In any case, there's no way we can get in right now. Let's investigate further. Yes?
As before, an iron...
Yes?
As before, an iron... Tiles on the cube are still... It's empty, like a beehive, without its...
This is where the memory should go.
You're alive and well. Don't keep me waiting now. What's it? Yes, yes.
Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear.
I knew it. Oh, such horrors. But what else did you find? Did anything survive? No, of course not.
You don't have anything of substance to tell her until you found that entity of hers.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
Whoa, what have we here? A bridge with loose nails and rot-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation if there ever was one.
Sure, they never cleaned up the war damage. The rest of Revachol looks... The bridge is fine enough. Locals use it all the time after.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. Because this is no ordinary wall, it is sublime. All the other walls on all the other houses must make a pilgrimage in adoration of this. Oh, Wall Father. Huh? He sounds tired of it all.
Sure. I suppose we have to pass by it again.
This Post Lavanturier mail collection box has been heavily... A crumpled billboard reading, Samaran butter soaks in the canal. Two ugly lines mar the bright countenance of the blonde boy depicted. Judging by the size of the impact and the parallel lines of burnt rubber, the cause was probably a motor vehicle. Side slip marks indicated that the vehicle was traveling up the crater at 35 kilometers an hour. The black marks on the roof indicate that the vehicle vaulted from the crater to the roof of the shack. The panel served as a takeoff ramp. The vehicle soared through the air, hitting the billboard and upsetting the posts. The sign broke the vehicle's fall into the salmon and butter billboard still looks freshly painted, suggesting it took the plunge within the past 72 hours. Still speeding, the vehicle made a loop and vanished into the fog. There are two good candidates, the Caprice 40 and the Linear G22. It's about the right size, and the tire marks look like they came. The Caprice 40 is a very popular model, with bank clerks, topping pie delivery drivers, secondary school teachers, cops, strippers dressed as cops, very sturdy but light motor carriage, more likely than most to survive that jump. The Linear G22 is not a particularly popular model due to its peculiar proportions. You'd have to follow the tracks to be sure. The lieutenant looks on, waiting for you to wrap. A rusting control. This panel usually closes the water lock.
Any theories about what happened here? What kind of car do you think it was? That's quite likely, from what I can tell. Oh. The traffic hooliganism? I hope not. Fortunately, we are not traffic cops. Should we get back to the murder?
Somewhere in the depths of your alcohol-addled soul, you find a few threads that you can weave into a story.
The tip-top tourney champion?
The lieutenant patiently listens to the words coming from your mouth.
Jumping canals at night? If I was Jacob Irv, I wouldn't drive in Martinez. In conclusion, it's a colorful theory, but I don't believe Jacob Irv did this. Should we go? If we must.
I'm not expecting him to get far with this, the lieutenant consoled.
Hello again. How can I help you? Traffic? I'm sorry, officer, but I don't drive. Now that I think about it, I do remember hearing a thunderous noise the other night.
That sure narrows down our list of suspects.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I didn't really know what to make of it, but traffic, I just don't like it very much. Now that I think about...
That sure narrows down our list of suspects.
He shakes his head, slowly. Okay, he definitely is high. Whatever it is, you've probably done it. Looking at his wares, talking to him, that might give you more clues. An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island. A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal. Not a good track record of mental health in that family. Even by the standards of the Philippian kings, well, he blew through the whole national treasury. His own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of the monarchy during the anti-centennial revolution. Stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber. He called it the Sol Auron. It was obscene. There were whispers he slept on a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers, like some obese dragon, instead of a bed, like a normal person. But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addict. You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering the national treasury on gold and ceremonial weaponry. He was also a prodigious snorter of nose candy, cocaine. That's what the revolutionaries said 150 years later, right before they emptied out the royal mausoleum and dumped His Majesty's. His Majesty's courtiers said it helped him connect with the beneath the cold waters of the Insulindian Bay. Thrown there by the original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing. Most historians think the coalition's hasty landing may have ultimately saved the statue. Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined individuals, designers mostly, thought it would be. The statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time. A rare butterfly trapped in amber. Float. People in Martinaise tend to disagree, as do many prominent art critics and thought leaders. With Philip III, the squanderer, however, with his bronze face up in the air, not that he ever did in life. Wow, you work hard. Oh yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down crack. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. Oh, you do. You make money. You got gills, baby. Meaning those black papers with the... It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop and a sprinter and a money printer. Can't say that. You shook him. You're in the sales business. Shake 'em for shit and then pawn it off. Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you rich? That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that? Because of the taxes. G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you Our tax is almost non-existent in the Gotham estate that is Revachol. You and I both, but they got those indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax. This tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus 98% of all your money. Here you go, hustler. Fight the righteous fight. Free the people. Keep it real. A Stars Ryko, one of the finest Zhimsk-made motor carriages ever, and owed not many people outside of Grad, and Revachol West too.
A Stash Ryko KK2. That's a classic model. Never thought I'd see another one repainted after what happened last time. An old case for my precinct. A couple of Zhimsk migrants saw a Stash Ryko stopped in the street. They said it was an honor killing, Hussar style. The Zhimsk community protested the trial, flying the banners of some old...
Correction. 4,395. The fourth largest public protest of a criminal trial in Revachol.
Is that so, officer? I'll take you at people we are paid to protect. Let's leave it at that. 4 years for murder in Reunion. The perps were remorseful. Their sorry knocked 8 years off the sentence.
The prisons in the greater Revachol Industrial Harbor are already full. Prisoners are expensive to maintain. The longer the sentence, the larger.
I try to avoid drawing far-gone conclusions like these before actually examining the body. But my initial guess is the two are unrelated. Yes, detective? Okay, I'm not going to honor kill anyone over this, but I've seen it blue and white. It's much better.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings. The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep. Large ashtray, a book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you! Things are busy enough. You're going to waste less of my time?
The hulking man oozes stark skepticism.
Have fun.
Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to let you through the gates.
I know nothing about a murder. Wouldn't put it past these harbor bugs. Right to work! It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup. Open up the gates for us. Blockading gainful employment for workers is a...
We are not picking a side in pity.
Let us work! Not before you get in there and get your ass whooped. Learn...
He might have some advice, but you got to at least try to fight Measurehead first.
Yes?